Folks, I've got some breaking news here for you. According to Middle Eastern sources, there's a claim that the United States government has already deployed weapon systems that were originally reserved for World War III against Iran. The Iranian military spokesperson says that this weapon, though used, has failed to achieve its objective. Brigadier General Skakarchi, the senior spokesperson for the Iranian Armed Forces, he furthered these accusations, saying that the enemy has already used every weapon that has been tested in the world but never deployed. They used the weapons that were tested and ready for World War III against Iran. Now, I told you this was happening a couple of weeks ago, and now we have high-ranking Iranian military sources saying that the country never stopped producing or replenishing their weapon systems, including the missiles during the ceasefire. General Skakarchi claims that Iran's strategic military production, presumably with the assistance of both the Russians and the Chinese, never slowed down during the 40-day conflict or during the public memorandum of understanding. According to his quote, missiles are currently being produced and replenishing our reserves. Now, he continues in admission that American and Israeli military remain confused about the location, where he says that all of the West's intelligence gathering tools, the USA stands bewildered, not knowing where our missiles are coming from. CENTCOM just released a post-mission detail that states the military assets have targeted Iranian operation centers, naval structures, Iranian capabilities, aircraft hangars, drone storage, and military logistics. Now, we just heard the Department of War come out and admit that it's not like they've said it was since the beginning. Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, together with Bradley Cooper and a couple of other high-ranking officials, they said that we have effectively wiped out the Iranians. And that's not true, because they're still lobbing missiles at Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain. They targeted that data center in Saudi Arabia or the UAE. And they say that Project Stargate is next on their target list. Now, according to ground force reports that we're reading, these strikes that CENTCOM just issued their post-mission detail about, they persisted for about an hour and a half of near nonstop target acquisition and bombing. There's an admission that the U.S. military struck back at Iran after attacking more than 30 different commercial vessels. Now, U.S. troop deaths are rising. They're probably not what they officially say they are. They're probably much higher. And we're probably seeing an injured list that's going to be higher than we could imagine, with U.S. President Donald Trump continuing to insist that America will fight to the death to bring home the bodies of the fallen and to vow vengeance for those that Iran has attacked. Now, the 1949 Geneva Convention on Humanitarian Conduct prohibits attacks on sites that are considered essential for civilian daily life survival and operation. But the gray area, or the tricky part to all of this, is that the military also uses these sites. And so if you say that the water treatment plant is actually being used to replenish a logistics center for the Iranian military, now you have a conflict aggressive stance that you can take and say, okay, we can take it out. It doesn't matter that it also gives water to the houses of a couple 100,000 people. I'm also seeing reports that the commander-in-chief of the Iranian army, that's General Amir Hatami, he warned that any U.S. military incursion into Iranian ground space will face a crushing military response, saying that millions of Iranians, not just their military, are ready to pick up their weapons and fight what they call the enemy. Now, speaking during a visit to various units of Army ground forces, they're basically saying that this is it. There's no turning back from this point. This will be a fight to the death for either the Iranians or the Americans. Now, we know, of course, that unless China or Russia get involved in this, there's absolutely no way that Iran can issue the kind of devastating government-breaking attacks that we would expect to see during a downfall or a threat to the U.S. government. But what if they can? We know that they have some Chinese or Russian-given artificial intelligence capacity.
If you sit on the toilet and barely anything comes out,
to the other apostles and the bishops, tells us truth. Shalom, salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, hopeful like tabernacle. David, I'm the Elder Yashawan, back with the World War III Daily Update. Shalom and salutations to you all. Skeletor here is giving the update, so I'm going to let him continue. I'm going to give one or two scriptures. That'll be it. All right. The water for checking the lesson out, the update. Lord willing, it's edifying to the elect.
We know that both the Chinese and the Russians are already deep inside of our infrastructure here in the USA. And I don't know if you've ever shared a Netflix or an angel.com password with somebody, but if you have access, giving it to your friends is very easy. And so we could be in a position where China or Russia...
Now he's steadily, from the time he started talking, he's in, 5 minutes? The first thing he said was World War III. And he's been talking about World War III straight here. Okay? This is full spectrum survival. He's supposed to be talking about what goes on in the bush back here and how good I am at starting a fire. But alert, World War III, weapons deployed against Iran. What is he talking about? He's talking about World War III to the point where all I have to do is hit play and let him, bring the, what's the latest. And not only that, right? He's got Kelly, if it's Kelly, his wife or one of his wives or whatever, doing separate angles, if you didn't notice. So Skeletor is bringing the news. This is alternative news. Yeah? What's he speaking on? World War III. He's giving the update. Carry on, Skeletor.
Access to our infrastructure. The FBI has said it. The CIA has said it. We're deep inside of theirs. They're just waiting for someone to push the button. And that's where these proxy wars come in, because Iran is willing to push that button. They're already getting hammered. And the only thing that stops fighting in the street today is some sort of social contract that says, you know what, I'm not going to shoot you for looking at me the wrong way because you're not shooting at me for maybe giving you the side eye. But when Iran is already getting attacked, and we're already doing these multi-day, guys, we're on the 12th, 13th day now, when they're already doing these multi-day attacks against this country, wiping out their infrastructure, taking out their ability to grow food. They get no shipments from any country. We're isolating them. No different than during medieval times when you would close off the grain shipments to all of the kingdoms. This is where we're at today. We haven't changed. It's barbarism 2026. And so since we're already doing this, Iran has no reason to stop from attacking us deep inside of our territory, inside of our country. Now, we already saw reports that I've backed up showing that Iran had already given at least the logistics, if not the actual capacity, for Cuba to fly drones deep into American territory.
And we're coming to California.
So what if Florida gets hit? Texas, Louisiana, Arizona, California. What if we see drones that are already operating in apartment complexes inside of the United States of America start attacking American cities? It'll probably be just one or two at the beginning, but it could be something much larger. Now, in the next couple of days, we're likely to see a lot of noise regarding this conflict. Aircraft moving, tankers circling the Gulf, air defense batteries lighting up and going dark.
Skeletor's cooking. Go on, Skelly.
And then the shipping alerts are going to start coming in. One after another, we're already starting to see vessels circling around the Strait of Hormuz saying that, hey, we have to turn back. If we have no way to move freely without either the Iranians or the Americans blasting us out of the water, then we're just going to take our cargo, we're U-turning this B, and we're getting back to wherever we came from. We'll sell it at a discount somewhere else. So that's already happening. Next is the retaliation change. With the data centers going offline in the UAE, power attacks on military logistics corridors, and commercial shipping ceasing to exist in the transmitting hours of the Hormuz and El Mandab Strait, it looks like something much bigger is happening.
That guy's covering everything. Bob Al-Mandab, Bobblehead, Mandab.
By the third or fourth day from today, we're probably going to see the language starting to get a little bit darker. Iran will warn that any landing force will face millions of Iranians, not just their army. Strait of Hormuz, center of everything right now. America is going to have to accept that we're about to get hit hard in our inflation fat bottom lip. So here inside of our country, what do we do when we have $10 gasoline? Well, hopefully you're buying it for $5 right now and you're putting it away. And hopefully you have some sort of break-off point that you say, you know what? My bills have to be paid, but I'm going to be smarter in this leverageable time in between. Maybe go to work with family. Maybe if someone's passing by where you're...
Now he's going off. Okay. But he was on point when he was describing what's going on in the war. He's bringing the update. Call halal, Yahweh Shamil Shah. The Most High got this fool working with us. Anyway, advance for the attack. And that's it. Who's advancing for the attack? Everybody. Prepare the ambush. Advance. 4. ADVA. 4. The attack. Advance for battle. Joel 3 and 9. Oh. We'll start up here. Joel 3 and 9 in the NIV. Proclaim this among the nations. Prepare for war. Rouse the warriors, let all the fighting men draw near and attack. Get ready for war. Consecrate for war. Prepare for war. Consecrate. Prepare for holy war. What's going on over there? Advance and attack. Draw near and attack. Advance for the attack. Let them come up. Draw near, let them come up. Approach, let them come up. Draw near. Advance and attack. Gather all your soldiers and march. What time are we in? Everywhere. Okay? Everywhere. What is Yemen doing right now? What are the Houthis doing? What is Hezbollah doing? What are the small Cappadocians doing? They're about to join back in. Under small Cappadocians, right, are now the head of the West, the Western forces. Who's the head of the Eastern forces? Russia, because all the other, just like in this NDAA, right, the Trojan horse gave power and authority over America's military to the Israelis. Okay? While at the same time, Iran, China, and all of them went and joined the Russian army, pursuant to Ezekiel 37, gotta get it. Look at that real quick and be done. What happened with that NDAA? Easy E 38. So now the IDF is running Babylon's military. Why? Because Iran is under the command of Russia. Let's get that first. Here's Iran. Persia. This is Ezekiel 38:5. Persia, which is Iran. Persia, Cush, and Put will accompany them, all with shields and helmets, as well as Gomer with all its troops, and Beth Togarmah from the north quarters and all its troops, the many nations with you. That's where China comes in. But right here it's saying that Iran, right, is with Russia. But right here it says, what does it say? Let's get a closer look. It says, get ready, be prepared. You and all the hordes gathered about you. What does this mean, all the hordes? This is what happened to the IDF and the United States military. One was absorbed into the other. That's what this means. Iran was absorbed into the Russian army. Iran was absorbed into the Russian. Keep all the armies around you mobile. All the armies around Russia includes Iran. Keep ready, and all your hosts that are assembled about you. Okay, that's still ambiguous. Company gathered around you, ambiguous. Company gathered around you, ambiguous. That are assembled unto thee. What does that mean? All thy company that are assembled unto you. That's not ambiguous anymore. What does it mean? Assembled unto them. Means that they now belong to your army. They are now under your command. Hopefully it'll become obvious as I keep reading these. It says, you and all your companies that are gathered about you, that's a little ambiguous, and all your contingents that are assembled around you, assembled about you, gathered, that has been mobilized. What does that mean? Assembled. Your troops. So keep your troops. Why does it say your troops? It's talking about Persia, Put. Okay? So keep your troops. That's making it plain. Prepared to fight. Thyself, thou, and all thy companies that are assembled unto thee. It says, you and all the soldiers assembled around you, you will be their leader. Is that not clear? Tell him to get ready and have all his troops ready at his, who is he? Russia. In this case, Vlad. Be prepared, and all your many battalions that have gathered together around you to protect you. They joined the Russian army. Companies assembled around you, assembled to you, to thee, gathered around you, companies who are assembled to you. We do this all the time. This is the first time. Convote. Con means with. Vote. What does that mean? Convote. Join together at the hip. Okay? They're part of the same force, if you will. Assembled about thee, assembled to you, mobilized. It says, and the company mobilized for you, but in my service. That's Vlad. Assembled with you to protect them. Assembled. That are assembled. Assembled. Okay. There's that. Let me go back to this real quick, Salakia. Let me look at this real quick. Shields and helmets. Also, Gomer, with all its troops from the far north, all its troops and many nations with you, it says, Gomer and all its armies will also join. What do you mean to join them? I'm going to join the Russian army, along with the armies of Beth Togarma, not Togarmah, Togarma, which is Syria. Gomer would be Turkey, and all its armies will also join you. Who else also means Turkey and those that were mentioned before Gomer, which was Persia, Put, Libya. Get it? But look at the verbiage, if you will. Many people with you, the many nations with you, with thee. That's about the same. Complete with all its troops. So you get the point. So they have come together, just as what is this? What does it mean that they've joined forces? Congress passed NDAA, merging U.S. and Israeli military and intelligence. If this is happening over here in the West for World War III, what's going on over there? Iran has all the weaponry, right? That that Russia has. Okay, that's what this means. Be thou prepared, Russia, and prepare for yourself, Russia. You, Russia, and all the company that are assembled unto you, because they're part of your army now. You're going to make sure they got everything they need. You be prepared. Make sure you got everything, and you and yourself, and all, including Persia, that are assembled unto thee, and be a guard unto them. Make sure they have everything they need. Be ready. Be prepared. What does that mean? Make sure you got everything for you and all. Make sure you got everything for you. Make sure you got enough nukes for you and all. Make sure you got enough for everybody, because they're now part of your fighting force. That's what this is saying. Keep your troops, all of them, in nukes. What was the first thing that as soon as Iran started firing on Saudi Arabia, what's the first thing that America did? Babylon, U.S., green lights. What? Look at this. U.S. green lights Saudi Arabia nuclear nuclear refinement, right? They gave them a nuke program. Let's give Saudi. What does it mean that? Oh, well, we gave them a nuclear. That means here's some nuclear weapons. Isn't that what's going on right now? 23 hours. Trump green lights deal to give Saudi Arabia nuclear weapons. Huh? So Russia didn't give Iran no nuclear weapons when that's what we see right here? 23 hours ago. Now that Saudi Arabia is getting their ass kicked, Trump is going to give them some nukes. Right? What do we need? What else do we need here?
Donald Trump has quietly greenlit a deal with Saudi Arabia that would allow it to eventually develop a nuclear weapon. The Saudis having a nuclear weapon is something that many around the world.
Iran doesn't have nukes right now that were given to them by see what this says. Green lights deal to give Saudi nuclear. They have what that is shorthand for we gave them niggas nukes yesterday. Ready. Gave them the codes in the football. Not they can have a program. Okay? Do you think that Iran don't have nukes right now and they're just refining yellow cake? No. Don't be stupid. All right? We're not ignorant of his devices. I'll just say that instead of getting it. This is Revelation 11 and 14. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past. Behold, the third woe is coming short. Everybody's got nukes. It's just about button pushing. How quickly it's going to happen. It'll take a while for, them to get to tacticals. Because we know that CHIP has to pop up and get pushed first. So with that, we pray that the elect ratified your brothers and sisters. Shalom.